Good evening, welcome to the September 5th meeting of the Glenville Town Board. Please rise for the invocation and pledge of allegiance. Please join me in prayer. Dear Lord, we come to you today asking for your guidance, wisdom, and support as we begin this meeting. Help us to engage in a meaningful discussion. Allow us to grow closer as a group and nurture the bonds of this community. Fill us with your grace as we make decisions that might affect this town and its residents. And continue to remind us that all that we do here today and all that we accomplish is for the pursuit of the truth for the greater good of the town of Glenville. We ask these things in your name. Amen. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Call the roll.
Here.
Councilman Yaragosa.
Here.
Councilman Godlewski.
Here.
Councilwoman Brzezowski. Here. Supervisor Ketzley.
Here. As you can see on the agenda, not a really heavy agenda. We do have one resolution to go into executive session, number 13. We will not need that tonight because we do not have the actual contract to discuss. So we will wait on that and hopefully have it by the 19th, which will be the next board meeting. With that, we'll move on to council reports, and I'll start on my left with Councilman Godlewski.
Just one thing, Mr. Supervisor, I just wanted to report that the storyboard project is complete at Indian Meadows. It is up. There is a story in there right now. I think it's Rosie the Engineer. It's a very engaging children's story about a person named Rosie who grows up to be an engineer. And that's the kind of main artery right at the main entrance to Indian Meadows. It was a project done by the Rotary, and we're sure thankful for that project and for all they do in our community. And that's it.
Thank you. Councilwoman Brzezowski.
I only want to point out, as I'm sure you all know and have seen, that the multi-use path has started out front. So it's very exciting to see that start to come to fruition, and hoping they have smooth sailing so they get it done quickly.
So, thank you. Councilman Levine.
Yes, I did have the opportunity last Thursday to attend my first Thursday in the park and watch Peter Rabbit. It was a very interesting night, and it certainly looked like it was well received among all the people who were there. And of course, the police department was there handing out helmets, which was really nice. Stewards with ice cream and free popcorn with a panel. So it was a great evening, and I'm glad I got a chance to do that this summer.
Thank you. Councilman Aragosa.
Last Monday, we met with the GECC. Glad that Mr. Kesley was able to attend. I heard from other members that were very pleased that we were there. We had a nice discussion about the Climate Smart Communities Initiative, and I think that project or program is moving forward nicely. Thank you.
Thank you. And with that, we'll move on to the next item on the agenda, which actually are two public hearings. We'll open one each individually. And so the first public hearing is to hear anyone interested in the matter regarding the proposed sewer extension, number 9, for the property located at 3 Hortsman Drive in Glenville. That public hearing is now open. Anyone interested to be heard on the extension of the sewer district at 3 Hortsman Drive? Going once. Twice. Seeing none, that public hearing is now closed. Next public hearing we have open is regarding the matter of an extension of water district number 11 at the property located at 12 Van Buren Lane. We'll open that public hearing. Anyone wish to be heard on the matter of the water district number 11 extension for 12 Van Buren Lane? Going once, going twice, seeing none, that public hearing is now closed. Now move to privilege of the floor, which is item number 7. We have no one signed up. Open privilege of the floor, which is now open. Ask if anyone wishes to be heard at privilege of the floor. Going once, going twice. Seeing none, privilege of the floor is now closed. Move to supervisor's comments to the board. Item number 8. Try to be fairly brief tonight. Just a few few updates and some things for your calendar. As every year, we have the 9/11 ceremony at the Water's Edge Lighthouse. We'll have it again this year on September 11th at 5 o'clock at the Water's Edge Lighthouse. And of course, all are welcome to attend. The entire community is welcome to attend if they can make it. The long-awaited Aldi store will be opening. I think you've all received your invitations on that on September 13th. I believe it's an 8:30 ribbon cutting, and I believe the paint will be drying on the walls at about 9 o'clock. So it's going to be tight. But they do have an opening for September 13th. As Councilwoman Rosowski pointed out, the sidewalk project has begun out in front of the town center. That is phase 1 of the project. Just to be clear, we are working diligently to try to get phase 2 done before the season changes. We do have to wait until the October 4th date when we have final sign-off on all the easements of the property. And so we'll be bidding that in September in hopes of having the bid ready October 4th and then have a very tight window to get the rest of phase 2 done. If not, at the very least, phase 2 will continue in the spring, which is much later than I like, but at least we have the project started and underway. Councilman Pitlavani mentioned Thursdays in the Park. I want to thank there's a lot of work that went into that. It was a very successful year. Last year was our first year when we did it, and we averaged about 50 or 60 people. This year we averaged about 120, well, depending. It began about 80 and then got to about 125 on that last night. The sponsors, Glass Tavern was the season sponsor, Your Hometown was the media sponsor, and then we had individual sponsors of each of the nights. We had stewards who gave free ice cream every night, 5 Thursdays. Glenville PD, PBA, interacting with the kids, handing out free helmets that Senator Tedisco got, and just through Martin Harding Anxiety. So it was just a lot of people that came together. But most importantly, the two that really we couldn't do without is the committee that puts these on and does all the hard work in the background, and also our, I'm going to call them parks workers. They come out of the highway department, but they're dedicated to the park. They were phenomenal each of the nights helping us with parking and all the logistics, and so it was great work by all involved, and it took a lot to get that pulled off. Well, I'm on that, just so everyone knows, the G2020, the committee thought it would be a good idea to try to get the word out. The G2020 stickers are in, if you're interested, for your car. They peel off easily, so if you're worried about your bumper, and a lot of people will start putting them on the windows. We're selling them as a fundraiser, but also get the word out about our Glenville 2020 Bicentennial. So if you're interested, let me know, and we have them here. And limited numbers at first, but if they go, we can reorder. Just to update, I sent you all the emails so you know. I'm anticipating that the next meeting will be able to act on the National Grid project at the corner of Route 50 and Freeman's Bridge. I'm sorry, Route 50 and Glen Ridge. There's a variety of numbers and things I sent you, so if you have any questions, let me know. But we're at a good point where I think we have everything in place finally where we need to be. First National Bank is sharing the cost with us, and so they had a board meeting, I believe it was today, so we're waiting to hear on the action of their board members on this. So anticipated they would be supportive and we can move forward with that project. But we're very excited because it's been many years in the making. I think Gina can attest to that. One more date for your calendar. You all know Oktoberfest this year is September 29th. We're very excited about it. Noon to 9, Melwood Park. It's one of the, I think, the best events in the county and in the entire capital region, and certainly for the town. So hopefully you can all make it and stop in and enjoy some food and beverage at the Oktoberfest. Budget time, we always have to kind of have a little update on budget as we go through this. As you all know, we met with the liaisons and the department heads to go over the requests. The requests are all in. This is kind of like making sausage. We're throwing a lot of stuff in there and something's going to come out in the end. But there's a lot of stuff stuffed in there right now. And so we're working on the preliminary budget anyway. Just some updates as we go through that. We're tracking a little ahead right now in our mortgage tax. We're budgeted for $640,000 at the end of the year. We anticipate if things hold at the current trend, it'll be about $610,000. So maybe the market was good. I know there was one very large mortgage in there that we probably can't, certainly can't count on in future years, but we are tracking a little bit ahead. Unfortunately, court revenue is still a little bit down, about 9% below where we think we should be at this point, and so we think we'll be short of our 195 budget number there. And cable franchise actually in the first half of the year is up by about 3%, so we may exceed the budget of $331,000 potentially if that continues to hold. On the budget, we're going to talk a lot more about this as the month unfolds. As you know, September 12th is our first budget hearing, our first budget forum here in this room. It's a work session, so it'll be the first thing on the work session. And then September 19th, it'll also be in this room, both of those nights at 7 o'clock. The 19th is a board meeting, so we'll do the forum to begin with. And then October 4th at the Senior Center at 2 o'clock for anyone who's interested in coming out during the day. On the budget, and just to give you a sense of where we're starting from. So we all know, we each met individually with our department heads, but when you take the global look at it, our maximum, if we were to go to our tax cap, which would be roughly about just a hair over 3% with our carryover and our growth factor, our maximum levy increase is $265,000 to stay at the cap. Now, unfortunately, we're going to have some things that exceed that. So the first thing up is obviously the biggest thing that's driving this operational budget is the contractual obligations in the B fund in the police department. That's $200,000. So the 2 new officers, the 18 and the 19, and then the contractual obligations with the contract, that's $200,000 in additional spending in this budget. On top of that, we've had about $300,000 in vehicle requests from all the different departments. That includes police, water, highway, building department, assessors department, and that's all of them, $300,000. We've had an additional, on top of the union raises, we had an additional $15,000 in department head raise requests. One of them was at 7.5% request. And so that's something we'll have to address. And then we had an additional $175,000 in staff requests, additional staff, in the A fund and the highway fund, between the two. And then you get to the capital requests. Now, this is something that I do encourage people to put in as much as they like, because it's something for the board to consider when they're going through it. But we have $5.6 million of capital requests. And that does not include any buildings such as a new town hall, a new highway garage, or any renovation to the Yates Mansion. That's not even factored in yet. That $5.5 million is a variety of different capital needs between all the different departments. Obviously, we can't address that. We can't put all that in there. But this starts the process of where we are and where we need to be. $265,000 is the cap, and we have somewhere in excess of $6.3 million in potential new spending. And again, just to put it in context, 5.6 of that is capital requests, so that's something that we could look at multi-year on or something like that. But operationally, there's quite a bit in there that's a challenge unto itself. I haven't even factored in the health insurance increases yet, the union wage increases, the step increases that come with the contract. None of that's been factored into this yet. So it's still going to be quite a challenge to get in under the cap. My goals remain the same as they have for the past 9 years. We're looking to stay under the tax cap. We're looking to reduce our debt, our overall debt load, and we're looking to reduce the allocation of fund balance as much as possible. We've made tremendous strides over the past 9 years in those departments. I don't want to go backwards on it. I don't think we can give as much attention to it as I'd like to at this juncture, or this year, but we're definitely going to try to continue to meet those objectives in the preliminary budget and see where we go from there. That's kind of the brief overview, a little preview of, I think next week we'll have a lot more data and information for you then, and continue the conversation on the budget. In the meantime, any questions or comments for me?
Mr. Supervisor, what amount of fund balance did we use last year?
Between all the funds, we allocated about 360,000, and that's down from the 1.4 10 years ago.
Okay, just wanted to know what we were working with on that side of things.
Yeah. The B fund, we finally got to no allocation. So that allocation is primarily the highway, the water, and sewer funds. Those are the primary funds. Thank you. Okay, so back to the agenda. We're on item number 9, is a resolution authorizing the supervisor to enter into an agreement with the town of Boston regarding water contract for water districts 5 and 6 in the town of Boston. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Have a second?
I'll second.
Moved in second. Any discussion?
Mr. Supervisor, this resolution, as you said, is in connection with the proposed contract between the town of Glenville Water District Number 11, the town of Boston Consolidated Water District Number 1, with the town of Boston Water Districts 5 and 6. This would outline a new agreement that would commence for a 10-year term on January 1st, 2019, and would end December 31st, 2025. And it has a minimum number of gallons per day that the town of Boston and these districts that were spoken of would need to purchase, and sets a rate that would be $3.50 per 1,000 gallons of water purchased. So should this resolution pass, it would authorize the supervisor to enter into an agreement with Town of Boston Consolidated Water District and the Town of Boston Water Districts 5 and 6 for the stated terms and the terms and conditions expressed.
Is that just a typo in the resolution?
I think it was a 10-year deal with the extension of the current deal.
Okay.
So the current deal
I was going to
would
say.
run out in 2021, and this is an extend and lend type of situation. So what this does, why I think it's important for the town to engage in this contract, is it extends the expiration date out to 2025 from 2021. It does also give us an additional revenue source of the $1,200 of every new user who comes on in Boston. That new user would have to pay the town only $1,200, which is a new revenue source. And it also gives us budget certainty with a flat rate of $350 as opposed to the rate of $235 plus ad valorem, which is never really known, so it's more difficult for budgeting. But the key is, in today's world, when Town of Boston has options now, namely the Saratoga Water Authority, it's a good idea to lock them into a longer term, if at all possible, before we get to that bridge. And so that's what I think the value of this contract is. Any other questions or comments? Seeing none, please record the vote.
Councilman Petlabani?
Yes.
Councilman Aragosa?
Yes.
Councilman Godlewski?
Yes.
Councilwoman Brzezowski?
Yes.
Supervisor Pettsley?
Yes, resolution passes. Next, resolution 10, approving extension 18 to sewer district number 9, as we were just called a public hearing for. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Moved in second. Any discussion?
Yes, Mr. Supervisor, this would, if this resolution passes, it would approve an extension number 18 to sewer district number 9 in the town of Glenville for the property known as 3 Horseman Drive. It should be noted that the costs associated with the said extension to the district will be borne by the homeowner / contractor who will be doing the work. So this is just to approve the addition of this parcel to the sewer district.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments?
And just to comment that it's good to see that we're growing the sewer district. It's a good thing.
If you can grow it to my house, it'd be a really good thing.
We'll work on it.
Any other questions or comments? Seeing none, please record the vote.
Councilman Petlabani?
Yes.
Councilman Aragosa?
Yes.
Councilman Godlewski?
Yes.
Councilwoman Brzezowski?
Yes.
Supervisor Pettsley?
Yes, resolution passes. Next, resolution 11, approving extension number 48 to the water district number 11. Do I have a motion?
So,
Have a second.
I'll second.
Moved in second. Any discussion?
yes, Mr. Supervisor, this would, if this resolution passes, would approve the extension of 48 to Water District Number 11 for the property known as 12 Van Buren Lane within the town of Glenville. This extension, the cost of this extension would be borne by the property owner slash contractor, and so it would be at no cost to the town. And that's it.
Any other questions or comments? Seeing none, please vote again.
Councilman Pittladani?
Yes.
Councilman Aragosa?
Yes.
Councilman Goddard?
Yes.
Councilwoman Brzezowski?
Yes.
Supervisor Ketchel?
Yes, resolution passes. Since 13 is off the agenda, we come to the last item on the agenda, which is new business. And change it up, I'll start on my right with Councilman Pittladani.
I don't have any new business, I don't think.
Councilman Aragosa.
I have nothing at this time.
Councilman Goddard.
No new business.
Councilman Rosowski.
I'll continue the trend. I have no new business.
All right, we have nothing new tonight, so with that, I entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second?
I'll second.
Moved in second, all in favor?
Aye.
We're adjourned.